Yo, what is good, my anime face? What is good, yo? Guys, I know Rick and Morty's not an anime, so if you really want to be technical, what is good, my cartoon people? What is good? I have some weird news. I don't know how people are gonna take it, and I'm not doing this to just try to start some controversy or to have some people who love the show come gun me for it. But to be fair, I think a lot of people are saying it. The way I'm going to kind of say it is this episode was probably going to be it's probably going to be, hopefully anyway, I think it's going to be the weaker episode of the seasons of this season, I should say. Anyway, I think this might, there's always an episode that is just not as good as most of them, and I'm pretty sure from season 2 maybe was like the first time you could really tell that. Season 1, I feel like they just were so fresh and new and innovative that everything just hit really well. And I feel like season 2 was a little bit more forced, with some information that fans would expect, and they had to play off of it, so it became a little bit more linear than crazy. And I feel like a lot of this stuff was funny this week's episode, but I you have to have a big like knowledge, or not a huge knowledge, but you should know some of the heist movies. You should know Ocean 11 in every single movie. You should know the national guy who was trying to look for the Da Vinci. Guy who did Ghost Rider, Nicolas Cage, when he did those movies of looking for all that stuff. And you need to know Indiana Jones. Like there was a lot. There were so many references, and it wasn't even like, okay, references and saying stuff and like having things from those movies is one thing, but then having your whole entire episode be based on what those references were from those movies and just playing on it and practically making an episode out of it, uh, just felt tiresome in the grand scheme of understanding. There's so many quotes and whatnot in there that I feel like, if, like I was saying, if you had a appreciation for heist movies, for those different things, guess what? You're looking much more uh, familiar with what they're trying to get across to you. But I had some people really coming up to me and being like, I have to rewatch the episode because it just felt like a blur. It felt like everything like didn't make sense and stuff like that. Which there are people who watched Rick and Morty without me, telling them, be like, "Oh, check this show out, you'll like it." Like, there are people that have always been watching it and kind of get the gist of their jokes and stuff. So to see an episode that was so heavily focused on trashing something to make Morty uh least, or like really unwanting to work in the field of what Rick just had him go through, was pretty messed up, man. This is one of the most darker things we've fully understood that Rick has done to get his way when it comes down to his grandson. I'm pretty sure he's not done doing stuff like this, though. I mean, it's kind of in his nature at this point to continuously just do whatever the heck he wants, and whatever the heck he wants is very messed up sometimes. But at the end of the day, this whole entire thing was to make practically Morty's screenplay a reality. And while it was becoming a reality, you then get the notion that, did we just tie? That was sick. Um, you get this information that Morty's like, oh well, everything I just went through, which means everything I'm selling right now to these people is actually what I just lived. Like my adventures are heist movies, right? Everything Rick put out there for him to experience this week was all so he would not write this movie. And it comes down to one or two things, which is weird for me. Is either he was afraid, like Summer was saying, that Morty is going to get a job with Netflix and not he's already passed out. See, this is the thing too about Rick and Morty that I thought kept this episode still entertaining and still very important to see this episode, because remember what Rick says is he was angry about Morty backing out of three journeys, straight up three journeys. So by not wanting to do something with his grandpa, who he, we really hear how Morty feels about him when it came down to Summer was trying to rescue the grandpa season 3 first episode, and everything she was doing to, you know, do all that, Morty was kind of the opposite of like, no, let him go. He doesn't care about us. He never cared about us. He doesn't care about you guys. He has any number of you guys. So to see, uh, Morty going into the role of actually showing Rick he doesn't care, actually showing Rick that he's backing further and further away from the adventures at his own pace because of something he's interested in, Rick absolutely destroys it and quote unquote nips it in the butt, which is the craziest whole part of this story in general is whenever there's something that Rick actually wants to focus on, there is no side stories, right? There is no extra things happening in the background. Rick can be so focused on track things that we wouldn't even get a Beth, Jerry, and Summer episodes, right? It could always be like this if he was this focused, but we know he's not. Half the time he just wants to drop a dump, and in peace. But yeah, overall, this episode was hype though. I think it's gonna be the least hitting episode for a lot of people. I'm not sure if it is for me because I just from my experience of it, and I know a lot of the heist movies and all the movies that they're kind of referencing. There was some that I didn't know, but most of them I got it, and I think that was the only real saving grace for me is knowing these heist movies, knowing all these inside references that really was the banking of it. I mean, the robot was cool, but then it definitely went on a little bit long with the battle of them, like, oh, and I programmed you and you programmed me. Like, we got it. I mean, and then Poopy Butthole just being there, I think, also really helped the episode. Him just saying, oh, wee, and knowing that he was going to say it quite a bit, which you got to remember that they probably edited the crap out of these episodes and took a lot of stuff out, too, like out of the chopping block. And he probably said, ooh, wee, more than anybody ever wanted to hear in their life again during that session, and they cut it down because it didn't seem that bad, including when he was like selling cows and stuff. It still wasn't that many times. So we'll see how it all turns out. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I definitely want to know if you guys want me to stop doing Rick and Morty things. I feel like it's just a good little spot holder for this day, or just days that I don't have a lot of anime to drop, and now we have two videos when Black Clover dropped, and I get to talk about Rick and Morty instead of just having Black Clover and nothing coming out for the rest of the night. So let me know if you like this. I can not do it. I'm still going to watch Rick and Morty. It's not going to stop that. But if you guys don't want videos on it because I don't have anything dedicated more like Rick and Morty-esque, for the background, I apologize for that. But other than that, talk to you in the next one. Talk to you guys tomorrow, Wednesday, with a lot of anime. So talk to you then. I'll get some sleep and try to get it out to you as quickly as possible. So with that being said, hope you guys have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I'm your boy, the Anime G, and I will definitely talk to you in the next one. So with that, peace. Oh God. I could teleport too.